So this is KSI's humble reaction to Logan Paul's appeal getting rejected after their fight in 2019. Now, did this reaction come back to bite him? I'll let you take a guess. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, if anybody watching this video knows anyone that does tattoo removal, stick it down in the comments below, because actions do speak louder than words. And that statement still does apply, even if the words are tattooed.
Even though Tommy Fury won it, it was a loss because he said he was going to...
So KSI is back in the conversation again, and as you've just seen from those clips, it's not for good reason. He's always been a massively popular figure in especially UK YouTube. I think universally, growing up in the UK and watching YouTube, KSI was the guy. But in recent years, he has taken a turn, and at this point, he's become a parody of himself.
You don't want this as much as I do. You don't need this as much as I do.
Yeah, he's actually lost his mind. To play devil's advocate, obviously behaviour like this is in the pursuit of promoting fights. He's always lent into the ego, and I guess it is easier when it is underpinned by constant success. But this ego was very fragile, and I think we saw that in the direct aftermath of the Tommy Fury fight.
Even though Tommy Fury won it, it was a loss because he said he was going to knock out. Control it, KSI, come on. I fucking hate losing.
You're not that guy, pal, trust me. You're not that guy. Okay.
And obviously, if this had been it and he walked it back and was at least humble in the aftermath, well, it wouldn't have meant anything and everybody else would have just moved on. But as you probably know, this wasn't the case. In fact, him kicking that board was probably the most tame reaction he had to any of it. First, he appealed the fight, and I mean, fair enough, if you lose under what you consider to be a dubious circumstance, you're gonna appeal the fight. But this was the first sign of serious hypocrisy, because as I showed you at the start, well, Logan Paul appealed the fight, and KSI had a few things to say about that.
You just couldn't take the L, could you? I know you keep saying that it doesn't feel like you lost.
I don't feel like I lost. Just doesn't feel like that.
But Logan, you lost. And it's taken you about a week for it to slowly seep in.
Yeah, it kind of writes itself at this point. There are basically 2 videos of KSI speaking in this way. The evidence of him having absolutely no humility is there for everyone to see. But more pressingly, he has just uploaded a response to the fight. I did a video on the fight when it happened, and it feels like that was a year ago. But yeah, we're going to look at this video now because it is hilarious. And if you're expecting any humility, I hate to break it to you, but I don't think you're going to get that. He starts off the video at first, just kind of reflecting on the fight and the camp.
So to have the judges completely take that moment away from me, yeah, it sucked. As soon as I got back home, you know, I was angry, disappointed, and eventually I just broke down and started crying.
And I mean, fair enough, if you put yourself through hell for a fight and you feel like you've been robbed, well, obviously you're gonna have these emotions. But it's months later now, and obviously he's had the ability to go back and watch and kind of reflect. This would now be the time for humility, but as I said at the start, you're not gonna get that.
And it's crazy because so many people felt like I won the fight. From Eddie Hearn to, you know, Adesanya to Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, that is 3 guys. And if you look at this at any level but surface level, it's obvious why. Adesanya, fair enough, you know, but that is 1 guy. Eddie Hearn has made money off you in the past, and he probably will in the future too. He's always been at odds with the Fury, so who could have seen that coming? And you quite literally hired Ariel Helwani to work on a fight. Obviously he's gonna say that. My man is trying to make a bag at the end of the day. I'm not too invested in the boxing drama, but there was that guy called Wade who used to work on the fights. He's got a record to criticise KSI in the past, and the guy quite literally took him off the production. You've set the precedent that if somebody criticises you, you're not going to work with them. And when you're making this much money, what else do you expect? I hate to break it to you, but that is the industry, and you should probably know that. He goes on to show a few clips of other people, and the exact same logic can be applied.
He landed the cleaner shots, yeah. I thought KSI landed the cleaner shots, was moving better, was boxing better.
KSI outlanded him in 3 rounds. And yeah, Tommy got the other 3, but there was a point deduction. And in my opinion, KSI should have won this fight.
Yeah, this guy has quite public beef with the Fury family, and he commentated on the following Misfits card. Do you expect him to say anything else? These clips mean nothing. He then talks about his career over the last 3 years or so, and fair enough, the guy is very successful. It's a relatively positive part of the video, you know, and everyone can give him his plaudits for the stuff he's achieved. But then the video does take a turn, and KSI gets very personal and clearly very upset.
So how do I feel? Depressed. I hate my life. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't think he's kidding. Yeah, as I said, this is where the video starts to turn, and if you kind of focus on the fact that his eyes and his words aren't matching up, his words are confident, but his eyes do look sad, well, I think that will tell you everything you need to know about what he's about to say.
I feel much better now. In terms of the Tommy Fury fight, yeah, I feel like I've come out better. Way better than he has. Like, I would much rather be in my position than his.
I mean, whatever helps you sleep at night, I guess. I mean, he's saying these words, but I actually don't believe he thinks this. There's just that little voice break there, and again, it just feels like everything you need to know is encapsulated in that.
I mean, it's nice to know that my fight with Tommy Fury will be the biggest fight he will ever have in his life. Even if he fights anyone else, no one is gonna care.
Yeah, I actually agree with him here. It's clear that Tommy Fury is just trying to get a bag at this point. The guy is not who he says he is. He is not the fighter that he's been made out to be.
I mean, he claims to be at a world level, but he's out here trying to fight a 54-year-old Roy Jones Jr. It's honestly so shameful.
But it is pretty ironic that KSI is saying this, considering he elbowed a 40-year-old man in the face. The guy's been trying to masquerade as a pro, so he can't hide behind a YouTuber thing.
Also, the fact that Tommy Fury was unable to knock out a YouTuber that has been boxing for about 3 years is actually hilarious.
It's just stuff like this that makes me think this guy is not serious. And the yes men in his camp, fair play to them, they are doing a good job, because this guy might actually believe these things that he's saying. And as you can see, that's probably not a good thing for him.
I'm going to iron this man out. He'll be very, very lucky to get past 2 rounds.
Well, I did. And you needed the judges to save you. That's pretty embarrassing, bro.
This might be the least self-assured egotist I have ever seen. If you play the pro, but at the first sign of defeat, you just run back in between your trainer's legs and say, actually, I'm a YouTuber. Well, from a list of possible things you could say, that might be one of the worst. The worst thing is, he could have won that fight. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was a terrible watch, but he was very competitive. The guy clearly trained very hard, but to just walk that back and say, actually, I'm a YouTuber, it's just completely embarrassing, to be honest.
And to be honest, Tommy Fury has been pretty embarrassing these past few weeks. From him being with Chris Brown, having zero rhythm, looking hella awkward, to him attempting to dance with Kavos and Wade, to whatever this clip is. All while Molly May is looking after his kid at home.
Yeah, this guy has somehow lost his self-respect. See, when you're on top, one of the benefits is you can just always take the high ground. But the moment that KSI is not on the high ground anymore, and he's not just like punching down on a 40-year-old man, well, he just instantly stoops, and to be honest, it's not a good look.
You're a father now. You can't be constantly partying in the club while your missus is taking care of your child. You were hardly around during Molly May's pregnancy, and it seems that even after the child has been born, you're hardly around.
Yeah, I think whether you agree with what he's saying or not, the fact that he's saying this stuff is purely coming from a place of anger. I think his delivery alone does show that. And normally, when you're acting on impulse, you say stuff that you wish you could take back. But he's only gone and uploaded it to YouTube for everyone to see.
Plus, another thing I find hilarious is whenever I come across Tommy's posts on like Instagram or Twitter, the comments are just slowing him and saying that he lost the fight, and that's because he did.
Alright, pack it up then. 7 people on Instagram have said that KSI won, so let's just overturn the fight.
I don't care if 3 random people thought you won.
Yeah, as I've already said, this stuff literally writes itself. Just for a quick reminder, let's go back to 2 minutes ago when KSI said this.
And it's crazy because so many people felt like I won the fight. From Eddie Hearn to, Adesanya to Ariel Helwani.
Here's a little thought experiment for you. Who do you think is more credible? 3 professional boxing judges or 3 people that KSI has cherry-picked for his video? I'll let you decide, but in the meantime, if you thought it couldn't get any worse, he ends the video on an absolute pile driver.
So yeah, let's keep reminding Tommy that he didn't win that fight under his Instagram posts or Twitter posts or anything he posts online. And if you see him publicly, you could berate him as well and remind him that he didn't win.
Yeah, so if everything else wasn't enough, he's now getting his fans to berate Tommy Fury. I mean, KSI aside, surely his team should have been a bit like, what are you doing, mate? His editor has blood in his hands that he's let this go out. Because while the kids that will defend KSI regardless of what he does will not listen to what I'm saying here, I think anyone with a brain can see that the guy has lost his mind. And there is a good solution here. If he had a bit of humility, it would benefit absolutely everybody. And he does show signs of it. At the end of the video, he does actually have a good message.
But ultimately, I set out what I wanted to achieve from all of this. And that was to show to all of you lot that no matter who you are, or where you've come from, you put in the hard work, you know, graft, stay consistent, and you can literally do anything in life.
It's a good message, but it is underpinned by everything else you've said in this video, so ultimately it's not important. I think intrinsically, seeing as much success as KSI has, you're gonna invite yes men. Whether you want to believe that or not, I couldn't care less, but it is true. When the people around you directly benefit from making you feel like you are God's gift to earth, well, that is all they're gonna do, and obviously that's gonna reflect on your personality. But yeah, I think we are now getting to the point where people are beginning to see this. I fully expect a load of kids to comment on this video angrily. But yeah, I think if you've watched this video by this point, I think you might agree with me. If you don't, then feel free to comment below. If you do, feel free to comment below. You know, every comment and like is appreciated. We are a small channel. Subscribe as well, because there's plenty more content to come just like this. I think at the end of the day, KSI, you just need to adopt some humility. As I said, if you did that, it would benefit literally everybody involved. You can call people that criticize your actions haters, or you can kind of act on the criticism and become a better person. And you might not believe it, but I do respect KSI and everything he's done, especially growing up and having watched him as a kid. But yeah, by this point, the guy is a complete parody of himself, and I think a lot of people will share the kind of experience that I've had. But yeah, KSI, please don't punch me. I am like one body shot away from being knocked out. And with that said, I'm gonna go train for my upcoming fight with KSI in a bit.